Hello, everyone, and welcome to the new episode of Entrepreneurship Lab. This is your host, Nevena Bajalac, welcoming you once again to the podcast where we bring incredible guests, entrepreneurs, and experts in different areas to talk about entrepreneurship journey, to talk about building a business and how you can go to the next level as well. Today, I have a special guest. His name is Gleb Gordeev, and Gleb is coming to us currently from Bali, but he's originally from Russia, traveled the world, and he is a founder, he's an entrepreneur, and he started building his career in product management, and now he's running his own agency where he helps founders to launch impactful startups. He's also a fitness nerd, a remote work advocate. He's a surfer, enjoying life in Bali, and soon he will have his own podcast. So Gleb, welcome to the show.
Hi, Nevena. Thank you so much for such a warm introduction. Hi, everyone, the audience of Entrepreneurship Lab. I'm thrilled to be here. I've been a fan of the podcast for a while, and I cannot believe I'm here right now. So yeah, excited to talk to you, excited to share some insights, and I'm excited to be a part of such a vibrant community of digital nomads all around the world.
Thank you for being here. And I would love for you, so you're originally from Russia, and I
Right.
want you to tell us, is Russia maybe now a little bit more entrepreneur community, but maybe in the past hasn't been? So how did you become an entrepreneur? Did you grow up maybe in the family of entrepreneurs? Like, what's your backstory? How did you start it and where did you start it?
To be honest, my story is very ordinary. My mom is a teacher and my father is an engineer. And I would say traditionally in Russia, entrepreneurship has a really bad reputation. I think it's common in many countries, but in Russia especially, due to the history, and a lot of people took advantage of others. That's why entrepreneurial people and also people who want to like kind of break the rules, think outside the box, are not very well met, I would say. And unfortunately, this is still a dogma there, and pretty much in most of the countries in the world, I would say. That's why I wasn't really inspired by my environment, but I've been always feeling that there is something is calling inside me. And I went to pretty traditional path. I went to university, then I got a job. As you mentioned before, I've been working in product for a while, mostly choosing secure jobs. And I built my product career in Germany. I'm really grateful for that. First of all, because I learned a lot from product leaders, and secondly, because it's a very well compensated job. It's a safe country, safe position. And you might ask, like, what you were missing? Like, what exactly um, kept you awake? What exactly kept you even a little bit anxious? And because something was calling me from the inside that I'm not walking my path, that my path is something else. It took me a while to figure it out. And while I was working, while I was still a student, I tried a few different projects, but I think none of them succeeded because I didn't push enough. I wasn't like I didn't have this self-esteem. I didn't believe in myself. And I think the most important thing in entrepreneurship is first to start and then not to quit. And the moment I said, okay, I want to walk my talk. I really want to do what I feel. And after this moment, when I made this decision, no matter how difficult it is, the journey has ups and downs. I feel like I belong here. I feel I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And that's why everything helps. So this is like my story in a nutshell.
Yeah, and it's very important. It's scary. I mean, quitting a secure job and jumping, I definitely not for everyone. So how did you manage? Like, did you have, I remember me, I had anxiety at the beginning, first couple of months, how I'm going to make money, where I'm going to find clients, what am I doing? It's that first moment where you don't know when money is going to come and from where it's going to come. After many years now, I don't stress about it at all because I know projects are always coming. But how did you manage that at the beginning?
Experimenting and trying everything again. Basically, yeah, it might sound like cliche, but hustling it, trying uncomfortable things, uncomfortable conversations. Of course, stress is always there, and it's especially I'm running the service-based business. It means that you can go from being quite good to being broke in one day and then back, exactly the same day. I would say to avoid the situations, I try to build some sort of a pipeline from the very beginning. I'm still building it because I think this is the difference between being a freelancer and being a business owner, that in freelancing, you have a client, then you find another one, then you find another one. And when you're running a business, especially when you have some people you need to pay salaries to, it's more about having this consistent flow of leads, consistent flow of prospects, and then some of them will convert to clients. So you have the lights on. But by no means I figured this out. By no means I got there. It's a constant journey. It's a constant adventure. And this is what I like the most about it, is that I think as a founder, it's very hard to differentiate company and yourself, because company is your project and you're fully immersed into that. And when I learned so much for the business, I learned so much as a person as well. And when I have to step out of my comfort zone like every single day for the business, I also do it for myself, which I would most likely wouldn't do. Like even recording this interview, it's something for me, it's so new for me and so unusual. But if I didn't run the company, if I didn't have this story, I wouldn't do this. And the same as making sales calls, the same as creating content and creating, different presentations and trying to really understand which problems your client have, drafting cold emails, these kind of skills, which I will take with me.
I mean, you learn as entrepreneur every day. You start as a basically self-employed or a freelancer, and then you're doing everything. You're doing your social media, you're doing your marketing.
Right.
You're not good at everything, but at the beginning, like you just learn so much, and then you're like, how do I make a course, and how do I do this? And then but for me, that excitement of, like you said, learning all the time, going out of your comfort zone is just like you develop so much. It's simply incredible. Like business push you out your comfort zone so much. So tell us, Gleb, what are some of we're talking today specifically with you about struggles as a founder. And what are some struggles that you see you're in the community of other founders, entrepreneurs as well? And from your point of view, what is some of the struggles you see for founders in general having?
Sure. I will try to make it as generic as possible because I work in software business, and of course there are many struggles specific for this business, but let's zoom out and just talk about founders. I think one of the struggles which I personally face and also my peers is, well, because we share a lot, and support each other a lot here. It's about that, your potential, how many opportunities are there, and you keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and you don't get any kind of feedback. Or let's say the feedback which you get back is not proportional to what you expect it to be. And it's very frustrating because you know that there is no limit, there is no ceiling. And it seems like that the more input you have, the more output you would also get. But in reality, it's not always like that. And this is very frustrating. I would say this is one of the biggest struggles. And then people forget about the weekends, they forget about some time off, and they burn out completely. Another thing which is very common in Bali, and I struggle with this so much, is how to combine the lifestyle with the productive work, because I love to surf, I love to explore the nature, spend time with my friends, and this is the main reason why I even started that, because I want to build a lifestyle business which really empowers my lifestyle. And I'm always struggling between like, okay, should I push for a couple of hours of work more, or I just let it go and accept that I cannot really do everything all the time, and maybe just relax a little bit. And I always say it as a joke, but there is a piece of truth as well. If I wasn't in Bali, I would probably already quit, because there are so many challenges. It's so heavy, especially, yeah, when you work remotely with your team, and as I mentioned before, how much potential you can get. It's a lot of weight. I love it. I'm enjoying it, but it's also very stressful. I'm so grateful to be here. I'm so grateful to be surrounded by nature, having ocean here, the world-class surf breaks, community of entrepreneurs and very, very ambitious, very nice people. I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah. And how do you, now that you talk about community of entrepreneurs, you mentioned that, that's helpful because entrepreneurship can be a very lonely journey. And how was it for you when you first moved? Did you know someone or, did you already have friends? And how do you perceive this importance of having other entrepreneurs around you?
Sure. I will start from the company perspective. From the beginning, I knew I want to work as a team because this is what I enjoy and this is what I found fun in work. So that's why I decided not to go for the journey alone. And for all the projects I had, and my main project right now, my agency Kodebusters, I have two more co-founders because I knew that together we will achieve way more and I want it to work. So this is number one. I know entrepreneurship can be very lonely. For the person like me, I'm really extroverted. I really like to work with the team. This was rather essential to have co-founders. Regarding the community, when I moved to Bali, I didn't know, I know a couple of people who were here like on and off. But to be honest, once you open yourself to opportunities, once you open your heart and just being curious about others and being grateful about your life, it just attracts the people, it attracts like-minded people and yeah, they just come. One of the tips which I can give for that, which I use is that just to join some group activities like working out together, going to co-working together, surfing together. So working from the coffee shop sometimes. I work in the co-working mostly because I can really focus here. But I go to coffee shops, try different cafes, different public places, also working with people. So this is how I built my initial community. Right now, I'm fine with what I have. I'm not really looking for that many new friends because people who live here, we really, really appreciate each other. And we, as I said before, like support each other and like to spend time together. But in the beginning, I was, very, very active. So this is how I built my circle.
Yeah.
And the more I'm on this journey and the higher I raise my bar, let's say, for myself and also for my expectations from myself and from my life, the nicer people I attract, I would say. They just
Yeah.
appear, they come when I need them. And not only from the point of view they are very amazing human beings, but also top experts in their fields. I can give an example, like a friend of mine, he is exceptional in sales. Like he really, really understands it very well. He has many years of experience. And last week we just had a quick session with him. He reviewed my pitch deck, reviewed my sales script. I get a ton of value, and I have the same about marketing, about content creation, everything.
Yeah.
World-class experts are just like, at the next desk, one coffee
Yeah.
away.
Yeah, that's the power of having a strong network. So tell us, what are some of maybe some stories of some challenges when you're building your business? You mentioned you need to build a pipeline, you need to find clients, or what are some, or maybe you're building a team, finding the right people. What are some of the challenges you had, and maybe how did you overcome them?
To be honest, the biggest challenge came from the most unexpected place. It's our internal communication. Because I guess we focus a lot to think, okay, I need to do sales and marketing. There's a lot of information on the surface. Like let's say you can find on YouTube how to create a LinkedIn funnel or how to write a cold email. But it's way less obvious to look for information how to build efficient team communication, how to hire people, how to even communicate with the closest co-workers like my co-founders. This is something which I thought, it will come later when we have like a big team. So now we're really small. It's absolutely unnecessary. Everything is fine. Like everything is cool, which it is cool, and everything is fine. Don't get me wrong. But I think one of the major issues which we had is because we didn't talk enough to each other. And this was, to be honest, really unexpected for me. And I started to, in retrospective, I thought like, okay, why I didn't anticipate this? Because when I was working in big companies, let's say, companies spend tens of thousands of dollars on hiring people. They spend a lot of time and money to onboard them. They have for years and years, they accumulate some practices, they accumulate some guidelines on communication, some rules, some principles and values of the company. When the company is new, all these things which are obvious in big corporation is like totally wild. And even if you have great personal relationships with your team, it's important to have efficient communication. And this was also the moment when I started to think more about the values of the company, which kind of people would like to have on board, what we stand for, how we evaluate each other. So for everyone who is starting out, and I would say if you are more than one person in the company, think about this from the very beginning, which values you are advocating for, what are your principles, and some basic communication guidelines, especially when the team is remote, it's even more important. So yeah, but again, I see it as an incredible learning. I see it as an incredible lesson. And I feel like after I learned these lessons, we're way stronger than before as a team.
Yeah. And it's something actually very typical, but we don't think about. But as a consultant and working with so many companies in Dubai, they were like, first, as you starting, you need clients, but then when you start growing, you see how many issues they are. You have to hire quickly. Then, like you said, communication is not good, and communication is key because all the customer satisfaction will come based on that, communication between team members and handovers and meetings and who said what and how we're tracking the information. So it's actually such a big thing, and technology can help us if we develop the right like apps and things. But sometimes we cannot start there, so we have to create certain things and schedule specific meetings, but be efficient and share that information. So that's I absolutely agree with that. Yeah. So Gleb, tell us a little bit more for listeners who maybe want to start or they started. What would you tell them? Like, what is some of the advice maybe that you learned and you wish somebody told you when you were still back in your corporate job? What is something you would advise them about entrepreneurship in general?
Right. So I received this advice like a year ago from one of my mentors. And since then, I was always coming back to this advice and I recommend it to other people. And this advice is very simple, and maybe some people will find it kind of disappointing because it's too straightforward. Is if you want to switch to entrepreneurship and if it's something new for you, I recommend to focus on making money. And I will explain why. Because there are many people, including myself, they postpone this step because they believe that your business needs to be your passion, or that your business needs to be like a huge vision to change the world or to make people's life better. And it's totally fine, but it doesn't have to be your first business. Your first business has to be this experience which will make this shift in your mindset from depending on the paycheck, when you get every month you get money, to the wild journey when you have to figure things out. So my recommendation would be choose the niche which is boring, maybe even old-fashioned, but where the real money is. Try to find a new angle on this in this industry, build a business there, earn your first few hundreds of thousands of dollars, learn how to build the sales funnels, learn marketing, learn how to do content, learn how to talk with clients, learn how to deliver, learn how to pay salaries. Because, oh my God, this is so much. How to invoice your client and how to pay a salary, it's already will take like enough of your time. And then when it's your second, third, 10th business, you can work on your vision because you will have resources, you will have experience, you will also have the network, and you have a better understanding how the world of money works, because this is the world we live in. Because I think if I or anyone would start a passion project as a first business, there is a very high chance you're going to fail it. And it will be such a shame because your vision might be very inspiring and it can truly change the life of people and truly change the world for better. But it doesn't have to be a first business. There are some examples which prove the opposite. But again, realistically, I would recommend to focus on money, make your first few thousands of dollars and then scale it, and then continue with your passion.
Yeah.
Think about how to earn your $100 tomorrow, how to earn it first 1,000 this month.
Yeah, and I'm so happy you shared that because I mean, I learned that on my own as well. And I wish somebody told me at the beginning because I changed, my niches and I learned they're more fast moving niches. You can basically make money in everything eventually. But like you said, when you have to pay your bills, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs make this mistake to start a business based on passion, but they don't do actual. I think there should be some kind of like, if you really hate it, you cannot do it. But
Sure.
if it's only pure on passion, it's not going to work if you haven't done a market research and you don't see that, oh, the market really wants to buy this. So if you miss that step, you're just going to fail. You're going to be frustrated. And we have to leave emotions outside of business, building the business. It's just, if you are led by your emotions, you're going to probably fail.
100%. That's
Yeah.
also I recommend it to founders I'm working with. When you have an idea or let's say an innovation or a feature, just check the Google Trends or check Google Search Console, some SEO tools like SEMrush. What are people actually searching for? Check the TikTok trends. What's there? What the people are buying on Amazon. It might be there's way less demand on what you think would be would have like a really high potential.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you, Gleb, for taking time to be here
Mm.
today. It was really a pleasure.
The pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much.
And I want to invite everyone to connect with Gleb across social media platforms. And also, please make sure to subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already. Give us some comments, and share with at least one person that can benefit from this episode. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And I will see you in the next episode.